Hey guys, today I'm going to present to you 10 lore information that even the most hardcore Metroid fans won't get all of them correct. But we're going to swap it up a bit. It'll be in a form of a trivia quiz format this time around. I'll give you some information and you try to answer the questions presented. Each number will only worth 1 point, even if there are multiple questions and answers, so tally your answer up and let me know at the end with how many you got right, or how many you'd like to get right. These 10 questions are going to be really hard, so I suggest to you that you might want to brush up your knowledge before you attempt this. Whenever you're ready, continue on. Number 10. Theresa purposes. Theresa first appeared in Super Metroid with the standard variation and the golden variant. Both of them appear very similar to the Chozo statues, but unlike the Chozo statues, they are hostile to Samus, who is one of the Chozo allies. Do you know why they are hostile to Samus? Here is 5 seconds for you to lock in on an answer. Time's up. So the reason why Theresa's statues attack Samus while the other statues don't is because they are actually built to protect something, or as a test to those who tries to learn the Chozo secret. In Metroid Prime, there are many Chozo scripts littered across Talent 4, and one particular script titled Statuary that is only present in the North American version. It states that the Theresa are actually programmed to be hostile as they are guarding the Chozo secret with this particular message. As we have done for millennia, we Chozo work constantly on our statuary. The statues are our sentinels, blind but ever watchful. They are, and have always been, repositories for our most precious secrets and strongest powers. The crafting of each is a long and sacred process, performed only by those Chozo who have lifetimes of experience in such things. We have left these relics on planets across the solar system. Some are merely reminders, silent emblems of the Chozo that serve as icon of peace in land that know only war. Others wield subtle strength, exerting their influence in ways beyond the understanding of mortal creatures. Still, others are guardians of our secret ways, and these can be as terrible as they are beautiful. Those who respect and honor these relics will know the friendship of the Chozo. Those who deface or destroy them will know our wrath, unfettered and raw. The line that refers to the Theresa is this part. Still others are guardians of our secret ways, and these can be as terrible as they are beautiful. Number 9. Parasite X Intelligence. Once the space pirate have been wiped out along with the last Metroid, this brought back a primordial evil that was never seen before. Metroid Fusion introduced a new creature that wields capabilities far deadlier than what the Metroids could do, as they can consume their prey in mere seconds before taking on their prey's image and memories. But how intelligent were these creatures? Here are some choices. A. They are mindless killing machines who only know how to consume everything in their path. B. They possess the instincts of any living creatures who serve to reproduce to ensure the survival of the species. C. They are an intelligent species, but they aren't capable of deeper understanding nor emotions. D. Their knowledge is limitless and will only grow as they consume more. You got 5 seconds to decide. If you pick D, you are correct. Though at the start of Samus' adventures in Fusion, Samus would state that the X-Parasites are nothing more than mindless killing machines who take on her appearance. Do note that this is very early log in the game. The X-Parasite at this point have only possessed creatures and a piece of the suit, so they appear to be very primal in nature. But as the adventure continues, Adam states that the X-Parasites are learning to the point it knows how to make judgment, where it prioritizes the survival of the species and tried to blow up the BSL to stop Samus. In Dread, it also showed that X-Parasite was capable of using technologies, as it did when it possessed Quiet Robe, reactivating all the Emmys in Planet ZDR. And then later on, he even found the compassion to save Samus and allowing her to escape Planet ZDR before it blows up. Both Fusion and Dread showed that X-Parasites were capable of learning and acting on the new emotions that it possessed. Number 8. What is Phantune's origin? Phantune is a squid ghost boss that appeared in Super Metroid and Metroid Other M, but even this apparition has an origin story. I'll give you 3 answers and you gotta pick the correct one. So here goes. Number 1. He is the ghost of the wrecked ship, and he has been leeching off Mother Brain's brainwave ever since then. Number 2. He is the physical manifestation of Mother Brain's thoughts. Number 3. He is an ancient primordial multidimensional being. You have 3 seconds to lock in your answer. If you picked 1, you're partially correct. If you picked 2, you're partially correct. And if you picked 3, you're also partially correct. But they all result in you being wrong. But if you select all 3, you get a point. This is a trick question because all 3 of these are all Phantune's origin story, depending on where you got the origin story from. In case you want to know more about it, I have a video covering Phantune's 3 origin story, which will be linked in the description, so you can go over there and check it out now. Enough of my shameless plug, and let's move on. Number 7. Metroid Prime 3 Corruption's Planets. Unlike any other games before it, Metroid Prime Corruption featured multiple planets where Samus get to travel back and forth to. Now here's a quickfire question with only 3-second timer. Here we go. What's the first planet called where the Galactic Federation is based at, and where Dark Samus first attacked the bounty hunters? It is Norian. What about the planet where an ancient civilization that suddenly went extinct? This is also where the bounty hunter Rundus got corrupted. That one is Bryo. How about the Sky Town filled with Chozo technologies and sentient robots still maintaining the place? This is where Gore went rogue. This one is called Elysia. What about the Phazon home planet where you have the final battle with Dark Samus, ending everything Phazon related once and for all? This planet is called Fars. Oh, you think I forgot one? Think again because I've saved the hardest for the last. This is one of the many space pirates' homeworld, and the only one seen in Corruption where the last bounty hunter, Gandrada, fell under the influence of the Phazon. I'll give you 5 seconds for this one. If you said Urtragus or SN883, you are correct. You won't find these in the English version of Metroid, as they are only present in other language, but Urtragus has been hinted at with the native species that lurk on the planet called Urtragian streakbats. If you got all of these correct, give yourself a point. Now to the next question. Number 6. The dwindling numbers of Chozos. Chozos are very rare and few. It only took 5 mainline games for us to see an actual living Chozo being Ravenbeak and his army, but before then, we've only known about the Chozos because of their artifacts littered across the galaxy. But there is a reason why we haven't seen too many Chozos. Do you know why? I'll wait a few seconds for your answer. So the reason why Chozos are very rare is because of their inability to reproduce, and the ones that are still alive have now gone into hiding. The Chozos was once a technical marvel in technology, and they took great pride in it. They were believed to be the best in the universe, but how does this go back to their inability to reproduce? Well, the line is vague, but the manga does state that the Chozo paid the price for having such a successful civilization, followed by another line that is due to their great longevity in age, old age has costed the Chozos their ability to reproduce. This very likely means that the Chozo relied on their technology too much by prolonging their own life that they managed to forget to make offsprings, and now their civilizations are just filled with old people who can't reproduce. Number 5. Ridley's real name. So for those who followed my channel probably knows I'm a huge Ridley fan, so I'm gonna have to cover Ridley as well. After the battle in Planet Zebes with Samus in Zero Mission, Ridley's body was mostly destroyed, but the space pirates decided to reconstruct Ridley with armor plating to enhance his battle prowess, and they were successful at it. But at the beginning of this log, they mentioned something very peculiar. It's either Ridley's real name or his species names, as it follows with Codename Ridley, indicating Ridley isn't his actual name. Do you know what that name is? If you said Geoform 187, you are correct. But Geoform is a very peculiar name given that it means an underwater physical structure that is either natural or man-made. But this has yet to be answered for now. Number 4. Space Research Vessel Marina. The Space Research Vessel Marina was the space station that orbited planet SR-388 and had a live Metroid specimen on board at the time when the space pirates attacked the ship. Now, what year did the space pirates attack Space Research Vessel Marina? I'll give you 3 seconds to answer that. Alright, time's up. The year was attacked in, it was year 20x5 in the cosmic calendar. Whatever that means, Metroid timeline isn't exactly the most well thought out timeline. As the aforementioned attack occurred in 20x5, so too did Metroid Zero Mission and Samus Return. And since Super Metroid occurred right after Samus Returns, it's fair to believe that Super Metroid also occurred in 20x5. All fine and dandy until Prime is factored in. Metroid Prime 1 is confirmed in Trilogy Artbook to have taken place 3 years after Zero Mission, and Prime Federation Force said that the game takes place in year 20x6, but Prime games are taking place between Zero Mission and Samus Returns, whom both are taking place in 20x5. Number 3. Chozo on Zebes. The Chozos of Zebes were once a nomadic race that travelled the galaxy, but one day, their ship crash landed onto Zebes, and ever since then, the Chozos have made Zebes their new home. But when did the wrecked ship crash landed? This one doesn't have a date, so just give me a general outline of how many years, and then you can self-judge are you close enough to be correct or not. Okay, if your answer is hundreds of centuries or similar, you're correct. This information was given to us in the Japanese version of the official Nintendo guidebook for Super Metroid. In here, it confirmed that the wrecked ship was once driven by the Chozo, and it had travelled thousands of light years before having crash landed onto Zebes, hundreds of centuries ago. This means that the Chozos were inhabitants of Zebes at least 10,000 years back. In comparison, the Chozos from Talon 4 was at Elysia about 1,500 years ago, and moved out to look for Talon 4 400 years later, which is about 1,100 years ago. Even though Zebes and Talon 4 are neighbouring planets on the same solar system known as FS176, the Chozos of Zebes and the Chozos of Talon 4 are very likely unrelated, other than being fellow Chozos, and this is quite apparent in their runes, with Chozo runes in Metroid Prime hosting quite a few technology and advanced equipment, while Chozodia in Metroid Zero Mission looks more like ancient Egypt. Number 2. Screw Attack Origins. The almighty Screw Attack, which is possibly the third most powerful tool for Samus, after the Shine Spark and the Hyper Beam. The Screw Attack is a weapon that allows Samus to gain infinite height while dealing enormous damage and also making Samus invincible all at one go. So it is a pretty powerful weapon, and because of that very reason, the Metroid Prime devs for Echoes had to nerf it to only 5 jumps only. But who made this outrageously powerful weapon? Was it the Chozo? The Luminoth? The Galactic Federation? Possibly even the Space Pirates? Could it be someone outside of these factions? Who made the Screw Attack? Do you know? Here's 3 seconds for you to decide. If you said Chozo, you're wrong. But if you said Luminoth, you're also wrong. Screw Attack is of unknown origin, and it is the only upgrade in Metroid Prime Echoes to be of unknown origins. Every other upgrade in the game either came from Chozo or Luminoth origin, except Screw Attack. What this possibly means is that the Screw Attack could be a technology that is a creation of both Chozo and Luminoth joining forces together to create, or it is an alien technology from someone else. This isn't completely out of the realm of possibilities, as Luminoth lore said that when the Luminoth were still a nomadic race, they met and exchanged technology with other advanced race at the time, including the Bryonians, Yilla, and the Enkrins. And finally to the last question. Number 1. Samus had 5 fathers. Samus only has one biological father, being Rodney Aaron, who died at planet K2L when he was defending the planet from space pirates. But throughout the series, we are introduced to multiple figures that would serve as mentor or DNA donors for Samus, that she would brand them as father figures to her, or vice versa. Do you know all of them? I'll give you 5 seconds to think of the answers or who the other 4 are. Five seconds up. Here are the 4 figures. First is Old Bird, who was the one who found Samus, the sole survivor of planet KTL resident when it was first attacked. He took Samus in and raised her to become the warrior that she is today. We know that Samus must have adored Old Bird, as we can see in the Chozo Temple, there is a drawing of Samus holding Old Bird's hand. The second is Grey Voice, the other Chozo that raised Samus, and he was the DNA donor for Samus so she could adapt to the harsh conditions of planet Zebes. He was strict with Samus and appears cold at times, but in the manga, just before his demise, he showed that he truly cared for Samus until the very end, and then later on, appearing as a ghost to Samus, and Samus called him her father. Also in Zero Mission, the same drawing where she was holding Old Bird's hand also had Grey Voice in it, albeit looked very annoyed. The third is Adam Malkovich, the human father figure for Samus that appeared in Metroid Other M and brought back as an AI in Metroid Fusion. He appears to be a bit of a jerk, but he's willing to make the sacrifice for the greater good, as he sacrificed his brother's life to save his crew, and then he sacrificed his own life, granted it was all for nothing in my opinion, to prevent Metroids falling into the wrong hands. Then the final figure is Ravenbeak. He is different. Samus doesn't have any attachment to him, nor does he have any for Samus. They are father-daughter in the most loose terms because that one time, Ravenbeak felt generous enough to donate some of his DNA to her. In the end, he still calls Samus his daughter, and so we must count him as well. That's a total of 5 fathers for Samus. And that's it for this list. How many did you get right? Let me know in the comments below of how this format went. If you like it, I'll create it more like this in the future. If not, I'll just go back to the regular top 10s from now on. I would love to hear your opinion on how you found this video. But until then, bye for now.